What is love? I often ask myself that question because as a man I thought I really knew what love was. See, I thought love was about giving material things. In some cases that plays a small part of what love is, but it doesn't completely define what love truly represents. So I went before God and asked him, what is love? What he had to say simply blew my mind. He said that love is divided into 4 components: listening, observation, value, and evolution. The first component is L. He said the letter L stands for listening. Listening plays a major part in love. Listening takes one's hearing beyond human capability, and it transforms one's ears into what is called a stethoscope. He said a stethoscope is an instrument that is used to listen to the actions of someone's heart or breathing. Most people never get to the listening part because they're too caught up in hearing. He said listening and hearing are 2 different things. He said, you hear with your ears, but you listen with your emotions. He then began to delve into explaining more about listening. In other words, listening requires you to listen with your emotions and not just hear with your ears. He further explained, I heard the cries of the children of Israel, but I responded with an action when I listened to their heart. He then went on to expound on the letter O, which stands for observation. He said observation is the action or process of observing something carefully in order to gain information. In other words, it's the ability to notice things, especially significant details. See, love is about taking the necessary actions from what one has observed from an individual's character. He said, we have to learn to listen with a stethoscope-type ear and see with a telescope-type eye. 1 Samuel 16:7 says, for the Lord sees not as a man sees. For man looks on the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart of man. For love's sake, our perspective has to change in order for us to see beyond the shell of a human being. He said then there's the letter V, which stands for value, and value is simply something that is desirable, something that is of relative worth. 1 Corinthians 12:21 says, the eye cannot say to the hand, I have no need of you, and the head cannot say to the feet, I don't need you. Verse 25 continues by saying, so there should be no division in the body, but that every part should have equal concern or value for one another. Myron Golden said something that was so profound about value. He said, wealth is the value you give to someone else other than yourself. In other words, wealth is value, and value produces wealth not just for you, but for others as well. Then he said there's the letter E, which stands for evolution. Evolution is a process of continuous change from a simpler or worse to a higher, more complex, better state. In other words, it's growth. He said, change doesn't just make you better, but it helps others to become better because of the change or the evolution that took place in you. 2 Corinthians 3:18 says, But we all with unfiled face, beholding as a mirror the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from glory to glory, just as by the Spirit of the Lord. To sum it up, love is the character of God. He said, this is what love is, and this is who I am. Now that you know what love is, live your life according to what you have heard with your ears and listened to with your heart, and your relationship with yourself and others will grow stronger, healthier, and last longer, all because you now understand what love is.